Hello there. It's funny because when I say it, I think in Attack of the Clones, when I drop in behind General Grievous, and I know it was Alec Guinness's first line when as Obi-Wan Kenobi in A New Hope, when he sees, I think it's, I can't remember if it's to Luke Skywalker or to C-3PO, but he says hello there as he takes his hood down.
Hello there.
And so it was like, for when I remember doing it on set, it was like, okay, I'm now doing this iconic line. So I had to sort of somewhat throw it away, I guess, or else I wouldn't be able to do it. Hello there. Yes, hello.
Hello there.
Hello there.
Yeah, hello there, and welcome to E! News While You Were Streaming, the official post show of pop culture. I'm Danielle Robay.
And I'm Wells Adams, and the force is strong today because we are celebrating the launch of one of the most anticipated releases of all year. Obi-Wan Kenobi is on Disney+.
I thought you were talking about this show.
Oh yeah, this too.
Yeah, but also Obi-Wan Kenobi. What is everybody talking about? The first 2 episodes are now live, and everyone cannot get over young Princess Leia. There's an unexpected betrayal and so many more twists. We're going to be breaking down the biggest spoilers from the first 2 episodes in just a bit. But first, Wells, you're our resident Star Wars expert. What do you think? What are your quick initial thoughts?
Star Wars expert is code for dork. Yes, I am.
That's not what I meant.
Listen, I'm just excited for it to be back. I mean, I grew up on all of these films, and now that it's a show, it's amazing. And the fact that Hayden Christensen is back, like, he has been out of Hollywood for a very long time. Obviously, it's probably very hard to say no to coming back to Star Wars, but to have him back is so freaking cool.
I mean, if you're gonna come back, you come back for the Star Wars franchise.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Well, coming up, we have spoiler reactions, interviews, and exclusive clips from the entire Obi-Wan cast, plus behind-the-scenes info from a Star Wars visionary. And you gotta tweet us. We're live, and we're dying to know what you think. The first 2 episodes are out, so tweet us your thoughts at E! News, and you'll probably be featured in the show. I'm gonna be reading your tweets all episode long. So first up, E! News chatted with Obi-Wan himself, Ewan McGregor, about everything fans need to know about this season. This is your Star Wars official crash course. We're calling it Obi 101. Am I right?
Oh, I like that.
All right, I'll see myself out
I
this
got
shit.
it. That was good.
I don't think they need to know anything. I think, of course, it follows the prequels. It leads into Alec Guinness's creation of the role in the 1977 when it came out. But it is its own story, and I don't think anyone needs to do any homework. They just have to switch on and put their feet up and enjoy it. I felt like right from the word go, we took this character that we know and love, and we took him to a very dark place where he's a broken man, where he's lost his faith in the Force, in being a Jedi. He's a little lost. He's lost all his friends. He's in a very lonely place, and that was where we started. And so every iteration of the script after that initial sort of meeting where we discussed that, just got better and better and better, and I was always happy to read them.
Leave us alone.
When the time comes, he must be trained.
Like you trained his father.
The sort of memory of like getting dressed as Obi-Wan Kenobi from all those years ago, this similar feeling today with it just a lot of it, you know, the cloak, the hood, all of that came back to me like it was yesterday in a way. I could feel the warmth that came from the fans about the prequels, which I hadn't really felt at the time when they came out. They were not much liked by the critics, at least, and so it took a while to hear the voice of the real audience, you know, and realize that they were liked. It was 2003 that we finished shooting it in Sydney, Australia, which is, yeah, seems like a lifetime ago. But at the same time, when I was on set with Hayden doing this, series, it felt like no time had passed at all. You know, we looked across at each other and we were like, this is so, but like some kind of time warp had happened or something. It was very crazy. And the lightsaber training that we did for this with Jojo was amazing. He's a great fight coordinator, and we did some great work with him. So it was all great. It was a great experience from start to finish. Hayden developed one which is a spin behind the back and then in front. If you saw it, you'd recognize it. And I never quite mastered it back in the prequel days because it was like Hayden's signature move. And when we were doing the training for this, Jojo started teaching me how to do it properly. And I nailed it. And I was like, oh, now I've got him. Now I've got Hayden.
Obi-Wan, may the Force be with you.
Goodbye, old friend. May the Force be with you.
Oh, I'm so excited.
I know.
Wait.
When they say "May the Force be with you" from the old days, and now it's crazy.
Speaking of time warps, Ewan McGregor hasn't aged a freaking day. Like whatever him and Paul Rudd are doing.
What are they drinking?
Yeah, please sign me up for that. And then talking about the light, I'm gonna steal a lightsaber real quick.
Uh-oh. You think you've got the Hayden Christensen behind the back going on?
I don't know, I just broke something. It's okay though. Here we go. You ready?
Yeah. You got the blue Obi-Wan.
That's right.
That was lucky.
Okay, I'm pretty bad at this, so I guess that makes sense why I didn't get a call back for this show, but I get
Oh,
it.
you were up for the role?
Yeah.
Just when I see him, it's so crazy to think that he almost didn't take that role. His uncle was in the Star Wars franchise, and his uncle was like, you're going to get typecast, do not take this role, and
Yeah.
he took it anyways.
Yeah, that would have been a bad move.
I know. Well, let's check in with fans on Twitter. What is everybody saying? So E! News tweeted, it's time to see if you're on the light side or the dark side. Which Star Wars character are you most excited to see again in Obi-Wan Kenobi? I can't believe the polls are in. There are thousands of you that answered, and fans were almost exactly split down the middle. So with more than 80,000 votes, Darth Vader has the edge.
Really?
I can't believe that. Yeah,
Man.
he had 50.1% of the votes, and Obi-Wan barely behind him with 49.9%. I'm shocked. I was actually on the light side.
I mean, it's just like the last election. I feel like at some point someone's going to say it was rigged, you know?
You just keep playing with that thing. I'm gonna read what everybody's saying online. Ace Dalmatian said, I'm very much on the light side of the Force myself. Thank you, Ace. Finally someone on my team. Alert King says equally, it wouldn't work without a villain, just as it wouldn't work without a hero. That's true. I guess life is about balance.
Well, of course, and that's what this whole movie and show is about, is balancing the Force.
Yeah, you're right. And King Zach Wren says Darth Vader all the way.
I mean, black is my color. Like, I feel like if I had to choose just in terms of fashion, I would go to the dark side, but I look pretty good in this, I gotta say.
You're also holding the blue lightsaber. I'm going Ewan forever. But now it's time to shift our gears into hyperdrive and fly into spoiler territory. So fans are already freaking out over the episode's biggest shocks and surprises. Let's celebrate the most cheers-worthy moments presented by Smirnoff.
We drinking?
Time somebody says Darth Vader, we're gonna take a shot, right?
Okay.
Smirnoff?
Yes.
All right. Well, the first two episodes.
What time is it? It's 9 o'clock. It's
Just
5
in
o'clock
time.
somewhere.
Yeah. These first two episodes had us breathing heavy, just like Darth Vader. You got the voice down, no?
Luke. No, I don't.
Let's run through. I can't even. I'm not going to try that.
I can
Let's
try
run
that.
through three of our favorite scenes, starting off with young Leia Organa. She's played by 9-year-old Vivian Lyra Blair, and we got to relive her Star Wars debut.
Yeah.
She's either in the cellar, in the kitchen, or in the woods.
So, Wells, I have to tell you,
Yeah.
everything I've heard from fans about this show is about young Leia.
Yeah.
She's a scene stealer. She's taking over the Star Wars galaxy.
What I loved about that scene, listen, if you're gonna have a good Star Wars movie or series, you
Yeah.
need kind of three things. You
Okay.
need great music, you
Check.
need a reluctant hero,
Yep.
and you need a good droid. And right now, we don't know who the droid is yet,
Yeah.
but you see that little like robot thing flying alongside of her. So I'm excited to like find out more about that droid, and then also how much money that they are going to make selling that thing at Disneyland.
Well, I want to find out what you're saying on Twitter about young Leia. So Cameron J says, watching the second episode of Obi-Wan Kenobi, and man, Leia is definitely snarky and a know-it-all. I love a woman who knows it all.
Yeah.
I'm with that. Base Marvel says Grogu move over only temporarily because it's Baby Leia's era now. Can we please make that a thing, Baby Leia's era?
Yeah.
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 It's like my Baby Leia era right now.
Yeah, it makes sense. You have Baby Groot, you have Baby Yoda, you have Baby Leia. I like it.
I think that Baby Leia is my favorite.
Yeah.
All right, and Tomahawk C1 says something so poignant. I wish Carrie was alive to see the little girl playing her. She would be so delighted to see more story and depth added to Leia. You know, this series has so much girl power, and
yeah.
Star Wars has always done that well, but I think they're kicking it up a notch with young Leia.
Well, yeah, I mean, with Rey in the past movies and now you have young Leia, I think this is a very, very cool thing for all those, like, young girls out there everywhere. Yeah. So up next, it's the moment that made our freaking jaws drop, Reva's vicious betrayal against the Grand Inquisitor.
It's scary. We have him.
And I cannot risk you losing him again. Move aside. Watch and learn.
Really think I'd let you take all the credit?
I know.
You're gonna kill the main bad guy in the first freaking episode?
Well, does that mean he's maybe not the main bad guy?
No, listen, we know that they can rebuild people, a la Darth Vader.
That's
and
true.
Let me say this, you don't hire Rupert Friend just to kill him off in the first episode, you know? This isn't Drew Barrymore and Scream over here.
Okay, so I kind of have a theory / question
Okay.
for you. Reva is poised to be the bad guy, bad girl,
Yeah.
right? Is she going to try and take Darth Vader's spot, or is she going to work for Darth Vader?
I don't know, but I think there's also a possibility that she could go over to the light side.
No chance, she's so scary. For real? We have to check with you on Twitter. Let's see what everybody's saying. Okay, so I don't know how to pronounce your username, Bosk Puda. Excuse me, I'm sorry for that. The way that I gasped when that happened, I was too stunned to speak. Yeah, us too, our jaws were on the floor. Expanded Who says, okay, but the Grand Inquisitor cannot be dead. Rebels take place after Kenobi, and we see him die then?
Who said that?
Expanded Who?
I agree with you, dude.
Yeah. Although, I don't know, because Rupert Friend's character, the Grand Inquisitor, calls Reva reckless.
Yeah.
I feel like she's poised to take over.
My thing would be, it would be scary to be part of the dark side. You would never be able to trust anybody, you know? Like one of my friends is just gonna, you're dead, first episode.
Metaphor for life.
Yeah. And of course, the moment that gave us all freaking chills when Obi-Wan finally realizes that his former Padawan, Anakin, is alive. Anakin. Hayden got paid for that episode for doing nothing. That right there is smart acting.
Yeah, he doesn't even speak, but he's still so good.
Oh my God, I love that scene. But also, I'm like, Obi-Wan, you've been around for the past 5 years working as a butcher in the sands of wherever. I cannot believe that you didn't think, hey, maybe I should check in to see if he's still alive using the Force. No, I think I probably killed him. No.
Well, instead, we're going to check in with you. What are y'all saying on Twitter? Well, Vim Raider says, 10-year-old Leia is not my, reading the wrong tweet. Vim Raider says, but the Grand Inquisitor, what? He's alive, and Rebels, what? I'm so confused. And Ash Elward says, as soon as I saw Obi-Wan Kenobi series started with 2 episodes, I knew the second would have a massive cliffhanger. I cannot wait for next Friday. I think we're all on the edge of our seats, right? Yeah. Well, we weren't the only ones freaking out over these first 2 episodes. We caught up with the Obi-Wan cast at Star Wars Celebration yesterday, and they gave us their first reactions to the first 2 episodes and teased what's to come.
I was blown away the first time I read the scripts for this show. The first episode is amazing. Every episode really delivers. And I think, the feeling I got after I finished reading them was just that this is a great Star Wars story, and at a very interesting time in the Star Wars, timeline, and very excited for fans to get to see it.
My first feelings were, oh my God, this is crazy. What a wild ride. And what I want fans to Oh, I hope you like it. I hope they like it. I really think they will. We had fun making it, and so it's nice to finally have it be for the people.
Well, listen, it has been a long wait, and I hope you have a great time watching it. We've tried really hard to keep the experience for the fans as big as it can be by not trying to get storylines leaked, and we're all trying very hard during this press junket not to give anything away, so which has not been easy at times. So I hope they enjoy it.
I just hope that the characters feel like the characters to them, and I feel like I know so many of these characters are special to them, and there's a real legacy aspect to this. So my biggest hope is that they just feel that they're back with their old characters again.
There's a whole lot more coming. That's my message. Very familiar faces and some really spectacular new faces too.
It's just, you're completely immersed in this universe that's so beloved, and we have familiar friends returning and we have new characters to the live action space, and for that reason I think it's just going to be a thrilling journey.
New characters, old friends, what do you think?
Well, I will say this, for the Grand Inquisitor, he's bald in this, right?
Yeah.
And I have a theory now on the dark side. Okay, so Darth Vader, he gets burned up, he is bald.
Yep.
Darth Maul, he's got like spikes, I don't know what those are. So I'm thinking that like maybe if you're bald, you go to the dark side. Like there is no like hair club for men in the galaxy or something. Like Propecia, where are you at? We might be able to save the galaxy if
With
we really
Propecia.
Yes.
But what about Reva?
That's why I think she might be going to the good side soon.
I think she might just have to, be bald. I'm
Yeah.
not sure.
All right, it's time to focus on the dark side. We've only got a very brief glimpse at Hayden Christensen at the end of episode 2, but it gave us chills. Take a look at what Hayden told us about what it was like putting the helmet back on after 17 years and his hilarious reaction to the viral sand scene from the prequels.
Yeah, that was a big moment for me. My first costume fitting when I went in and had all the Vader bits attached, and of course putting the helmet on again. It was just a big moment, We have some tricks for trying to stay cool under the costume. They have like this Under Armour water circulation device that keeps you cool when you need to. And yeah.
I don't like sand. It's coarse and rough and irritating, and it gets everywhere.
I've never really understood the humor of that, of the scene. For me, I've always sort of understood Anakin's contempt for sand, and of course it's a little bit of a different bit of dialogue, but no, I never minded it.
Listen, I totally get where Anakin's coming from with the whole sand thing.
Tell me, what do you mean?
Dude, I work on a show on the beach in Mexico every freaking summer, and that sand gets everywhere, and it sucks. So you know what, Anakin? I'm with you, man.
It's giving me Coachella vibes. Anybody who's gone to a music festival knows that that's uncomfortable.
Oh, yeah.
So that's true.
It gets down in the old crotchal region.
Okay, I'm gonna move on from that one. So there are some new characters, but there's also a lot of familiar faces from the Star Wars universe that are back on our screens. But we met some brand new baddies that we got to hang out with. Actress Moses Ingram was truly frightening as Inquisitor Reva, and we sat down with her to chat all about joining the franchise, your favorite, training to become a Jedi.
Ewan and I, we did saber training together, and just watching him dust off the lightsaber like it wasn't nothing, and I'm like trying to keep it in my hand. Hayden actually last week, he said to me, Moses, once you're in it, you are in it for the rest of your life.
Stay hidden, or we will not survive.
It's fun to be menacing in that way and to peel back the layers, and I think also too, she doesn't believe she's bad. She's just doing the best at her job that she can do, and she just happens to do it without regard. She's got to be out front, and she wants to be number one. She'll do whatever she has to. She plays the offense. I never had that reaction putting on a costume, but it just did something for the kid in me. I think there's something about dreaming, right? But I couldn't have dreamed this for myself in this way. My imagination is not this great, and so it was amazing. it's really something. You know, it reads grand and epic, and then we got there to shoot it and it felt just as grand and epic. You know, there are like air cannons, and Deborah would play the music underneath John Williams when we were going into certain scenes, and it just is such a rich culture of a thing. And yeah.
You can't run Obi-Wan! You can't escape him!
There are 3 different sizes. There's an extra large one that you use in certain parts of a scene, a medium-sized one that you use in certain parts, and then a little tiny one that you use in certain parts. And I was very surprised to find that out. 4 months, yeah, super intense. You know, we had that, you know, regular strength and cardio, and then we had Jedi school on top of that, which was 3 days a week. We'd just get in the gym for a few hours together and, you know, put agility and stunts together. We were doing all kinds of crazy stuff on wires, flipping, running across walls, power poses. It was really sick.
Got that power pose ready?
Yeah, listen, I just like that she calls working out Jedi training. I'm gonna start using that. Babe, I'm going on a run. No, sorry, I'm going on Jedi training right now.
No one can say no to that. It
Yeah.
sounds so important. You gotta go train.
I love one thing that Reva said in that interview where she talks about, you know, she doesn't consider herself good or bad. Then that goes back to my theory that I think there's a chance that she could go back to the light side. And so hear me out. There's a theory online right now that she was one of the Padawans that was in the school when Anakin came and killed everybody. And now she's out for blood and like maybe like a little bit of a spy on the dark side. And I think that would be super cool.
You know, that's kind of one of the nagging questions in the franchise always is revenge or redeem.
Yeah.
We never know. But considering that epic twist at the end of episode 2, I'm not sure if we're going to be seeing more of Rupert Friend as the Grand Inquisitor or not. I know you say we are. Well, enjoy this exclusive interview with him while you still can.
The key to hunting Jedi is patience.
I am playing the Grand Inquisitor. First time in the live-action Star Wars world that we've seen this character. Definitely dark side. Reports directly to Darth Vader. One of the most feared fighters in the galaxy. Used to actually be a Jedi and was turned to the dark side, but before that happened, trained all the Jedi in their fighting styles. So he has mastery of the lightsaber and is quite a fearsome opponent.
Where is he?
Yeah, the Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber is incredibly distinct. It is, I'd never seen one like that before until I started doing my homework. But being handed it on set it's sort of like in those old movies about knights when you get sort of knighted with a sword and someone comes up and this box opens and this beautiful object is there, and then you're like, really, can I touch it? And they're like, yeah, it's yours. Pick it up. It's very, very hard not to do the noise when you move it around. That you actually have to work at, because obviously if you do the noise and they're filming, it doesn't really work.
Stay hidden, or we will not survive.
Creating the Grand Inquisitor's look in collaboration with our wonderful director Deb Chow, Dave Chang, all the guys at Lucasfilm were involved in this extraordinary creation, which took 4 hours a day to put on. So I would arrive very early in the morning with my prosthetic guys and the artists who were building this beautiful thing every day. And we went through a number of iterations with it, and it was just a fascinating thing to watch these artists bring this guy to life, who's, you know, not even human. So this kind of weird hybrid of humanoid and other. And it was like seeing something be born each day.
The Grand Inquisitor's lightsaber is pretty freaking cool, but it also might be a fidget spinner in like a different galaxy, you know?
I was not expecting that. I feel like the Grand Inquisitor is your guy.
Maybe. I don't know. I feel like
him?
no. I like just the normal one. I feel like 2 of them I would hurt myself and other people.
Well, you could go to Jedi training for that.
That's very, very true.
You'll
which is
be
called
good.
Pilates in Studio City. Listen, one of the things about the Grand Inquisitor's storyline that I kind of love and why everyone's so upset about this is because, in the cartoon, his story arc continues on for a very long time. So to kill him off in the first episode kind of doesn't make a whole lot of sense.
Does it make you feel better knowing that he'll probably come back then?
Well, it's either like we're going into like the Doctor Strange multiverse or he's going to be rebuilt.
All right. I want to see what everybody's saying online. So on Twitter, Rindy Rohan says, why does Reva know that Vader is Anakin? That's a good question.
She can sense it, man.
Yeah?
Right?
With the Force.
Yeah.
Jamie Blackjack says, I'm calling it now. Reva wants to kill Vader, and that's why she's hell-bent on finding Obi-Wan.
We just said that!
Yeah.
Who said that?
You! No, I'm just kidding.
Jamie!
Jamie Blackjack.
Jamie knows what's up.
And Vim Raiders says, the Grand Inquisitor, what? He's alive in Rebels, so wait, I'm confused. Yeah, that's also what you just said.
That's what I just said. These are my people right here.
Twitter's got your back,
Yeah,
love.
man.
You're good. Well, this cast is having way too much fun together behind the scenes. All the videos we see of them, they're laughing, they're enjoying, even though they're obviously taking filming seriously.
Yeah.
They're enjoying. So Only While You Were Streaming has an exclusive clip straight from Lucasfilm featuring Star Wars Ewan McGregor, Hayden Christensen, and my girl Moses Ingram using the Force to play one of our new favorite games. Wait for it.
Yeah.
It's called Star Wars or Just Words. We're going to play along and see how we do, but I heard it's hard, so maybe we could cheat a little bit.
Okay.
Let's take a look.
Okay, everyone knows that there's a lot of words and names in the Star Wars universe.
Like Glindu or Visharion, Bothos.
I've never heard of any of those terms.
Well, I just made those ones up.
Oh, tricky.
So with that, it's time to play Star Wars or Just Words.
Dun, 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 dun.
Here we go. First word.
Slaymo.
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 Just words.
Going Star
It
Wars.
could be a trick. I'm a.
You have to decide. You have to make a.
Okay, I'll lean.
What is that?
Slaymo.
Excuse me? Skunk hole.
Skunk.
Skunk hole. Surely something in Star Wars called Skug hole. Oh, I changed mine at the last minute. Skug
hole.
See, that's what I said.
I'll pretend I misheard it. Yeah, I misheard that.
Jart.
Jart. It's so ridiculous.
I'm gonna say it's a Star Wars word.
Wow. Paneris.
Oh yeah, that's Star Wars.
I'm gonna take your word for it.
Paneris.
That's that.
Yeah, right. Okay, I'll go.
Been there? Have you been?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
That's it. I'm not a very good loser.
Wait, was jart a real word or not? Or is that just like when you've had a big burrito the night before?
Ew.
Wait, let's play this game. Let's play. I've got one for you. Okay.
Okay,
Tell me
me.
which one's real, which one's Star Wars, and which one's not real. Okay.
Oh, God.
Andor or Epsilon?
Both sound like Pig Latin to me, so I'm gonna say Epsilon.
No, you are incorrect. Andor is a planet, and of course, it's going to be part of the next series of Rogue One. So keep your eyes
I gotta come
out
back
for
from. Can I come back from that?
Yeah.
You just got.
It's
me?
okay. I mean, at least you didn't jart.
I was about to say I love the word Sleemo. I feel like any guy I date from now on, if they're not nice, I'm gonna be like Sleemo, but we'll leave it on Jart. So I wanna know what everybody on Twitter is saying. I hope you got more right than I did. Stubbs Turner says, 10-year-old Leia was not my Obi-Wan bingo card. Kevin Talks 12 said, the little tease of Vader was enough for me. I can't wait for Obi-Wan Kenobi. The score is simply fantastic. Every time the music plays, my heart beats. Do you feel that?
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Obi-Wan on the run against the Inquisitors, fire emoji. I think the fire emoji is the emoji of this franchise.
Oh yeah. So Obi-Wan joins the live-action lineup of shows that are expanding the storytelling opportunities in the Star Wars universe. We spoke with one of the few people in the Galactic Empire with the inside scoop, Oscar winner Doug Chiang. He is the creative director at Lucasfilm and production designer on The Mandalorian, The Book of Boba Fett, and of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi. He is very, very busy and very rich.
And very in love with his art. Come on, so how does he bring that signature Star Wars magic to life? And what Easter eggs did he sneak into the show? You gotta know.
My name is Doug Chiang. I'm the Vice President and Executive Creative Director for Lucasfilm. I'm also a production designer and co-producer for Obi-Wan Kenobi. On Obi-Wan Kenobi, I was essentially charged with designing the look of the film, the characters, the environments, all the sets and the planets. And it was actually quite an amazing endeavor because it actually, Obi-Wan Kenobi bridges the prequels with the original trilogy. And it was a really terrific opportunity to actually finally blend those two aesthetics. One of the most interesting challenges for us was really to figure out we were going to go back to Tatooine and to really find that bridge.
The fight is done. We lost.
I mean, there are so many Easter eggs that we always try to put into these films because, myself, I'm a huge Star Wars fan and I love to pay respect to all of that. So in designing a lot of these films, we always try to sort of plant a little seed of something just for us, and maybe no other fans will see it, but I know it's there. One of our biggest challenges was, of course, how to portray a young Luke Skywalker and what did the homestead look like with Aunt Beru and Uncle Owen. And it was really interesting because, not a lot changes on Tatooine because it's a pretty timeless environment. And so our challenge really was to actually make it so that it was still very familiar to the fans of the original trilogy, but then update it a little bit to bring something new to it. And I think Luke was a really fun example of that, where we try to imbue a lot of that sort of nostalgia into his character, into the design of, okay, what would a young Luke be doing on the homestead?
Stay hidden.
My reaction when I first heard that we were going to do an Obi-Wan standalone series was one of like, yes, this is the right time. I was really thrilled. Obi-Wan Kenobi is one of my favorite characters, and to actually, learn more about his character and what happened between the prequels and the original trilogy was always something that I was really curious about. And to me, Obi-Wan Kenobi is very endearing because he's one of the last remaining characters from George Lucas. And we were very protective of, making sure that we were very respectful to the character development. And what would that be? What would his evolution be? What was his, character motivation during this period? Because obviously when we see him in New Hope, he's a completely different person. And we want to really learn, okay, what happened during those 20 years? And one of the great things about working with George Lucas in 1995 is that, we kind of established and built this huge, vast universe where then George actually took a small portion of that for the prequels. So there's a lot of unused ideas. And for Obi-Wan Kenobi, we actually had a really fun opportunity to actually bring some of those ideas and actually realize them.
Wow, a true Star Wars visionary. He kind of gave us a few Easter eggs. What Easter eggs are you excited for?
I can tell you one that I'm not excited for.
Yeah.
Misa, not excited for Jar Jar Binks.
Wow.
That would suck. But I tell you what I do kind of want to see. And I don't know if the time would work out, like if Lando would still be kind of alive in this world, but it would be really cool if the Millennium Falcon shows up again. There's that one scene where young Leia is looking up and pointing at the sky and pointing out ships. Maybe one of those ships is the iconic Millennium Falcon.
Okay, I'm kind of wondering if we're gonna see a Qui-Gon appearance, because if I were like a really obsessed Star Wars fan, I would be outside of Liam Neeson's house over the last 2 years, just like with binoculars, seeing if he was leaving to go film something.
Yeah.
I think fans are waiting for that.
He's got a very particular set of skills. One includes, working a lightsaber.
That's very true. Well, you guys have a particular set of skills. You're great with your thumbs. I want to see what everybody's saying on Twitter. T-Ba725 says, I can't believe the day is actually here. Obi-Wan Kenobi. And Shelves247 says, there's a thrilling, emotionally charged energy behind every scene in this series. It's incredible how the series never sacrifices its sense of humor to achieve that. That's actually such a great point, because Star Wars fans are funny. They appreciate the humor.
Oh yeah, and obviously there's a lot of very funny characters in Star Wars. It's a part of the world that they've built, So I'm just so freaking excited that this is here.
Okay, I have one last question before we're almost done with our show. Obi-Wan Kenobi is the Jedi. He follows all the Jedi dogma. He's like the ultimate good guy. Is there any chance that he strays from that?
No. No way, shape, or form.
Really?
Reva might come over to his side. I could see that happening, but yeah, that would not be good.
All right.
You know?
Yeah.
All right, guys, that's a wrap on this Star Wars Love Fest. And be sure to check out all the new episodes of Obi-Wan Kenobi dropping every Wednesday on Disney+. And we'll meet you right back here for the finale. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us here while on, what's the name of the show?
I think it's While You Were Streaming.
That's
Yeah,
it.
we got it. It's the official post show of pop culture. So, well, it was so much fun hanging out with you, and the finale will be here before we know it. So make sure to come back to While You Were Streaming on Tuesday, May 31st at 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern, because we're talking all things Stranger Things Season 4. The whole set's going to be different. We're going all out. It's going to be here faster than 11 can gobble up an Eggo, I promise you.
She's got the Force, right?
She
can move
does
stuff
kind of have the
around.
Force.
Yeah.
Well, speaking of, may the Force be with you.